Another day, another mystery. Hello wonderful person, this is Anton, and today we're going to be discussing this relatively recent discovery of yet another unusual radio source coming from the center of our galaxy that once again does not have a very good explanation. A radio source that was recently described in a paper you can find in the description below, and that doesn't seem to fit the patterns we've observed from other radio sources from the usual culprits, such as for example various neutron stars, various white dwarfs, or potentially black holes that can, in theory, produce various types of unusual radio signals. And so in this video we're going to discuss what type of a signal this is, what sort of patterns it's exhibiting, and more importantly, what the scientists believe it might be after all. But I guess to start, let's find out how all of this was discovered, and more importantly, why in the last few years we had so many unusual radio signals discovered out of nowhere. You might already know the answer to this. It's basically because of the new development and a lot of different projects when it comes to radio astronomy. This one right here is one of the projects in Australia. The project ran by the International Center for Radio Astronomy Research, with these projects essentially creating these mega telescope structures, with each made out of these small radio antenna that can generally produce extremely accurate and very detailed images, allowing us to explore the universe in radio light. And because of this, in the last few years, the scientists were able to create some really incredible radio maps of the night skies, allowing us to see things we've never been able to see before. With one of my most favorite maps being Glimoscope that you can find in the description below, that essentially allows you to look at the night skies, or in this case the Milky Way galaxy, in the X-rays, in the gamma rays, in the infrared light, microwave light, but most importantly, in radio light, but with extreme accuracy and detail that's never been available before. And naturally here, as you start exploring the night skies, you might discover some objects you might have not even known existed. If you've watched videos on this channel before, you might already know what this is, for example. This is the iconic Centaurus A galaxy that's not as easily visible in optical light, but becomes the brightest object in radio light. As a matter of fact, one of the recent videos talked about the size of this object. It's something like 19 to 20 times larger than the full moon in the night skies. But because of these new projects, we also started discovering some unusual radio signals that nobody has ever seen before. Okay, obligatory side note, not alien technology radio signals. We're talking about natural radio signals from objects that could be just as mysterious, if not more mysterious, than the aliens themselves. Possibly representing some unusual physical phenomena that can help us understand the universe a little bit better. And not so long ago, we've already talked about one unusual radio signal detected from the center of the galaxy that is still just as mysterious and didn't really get a good explanation yet. You can find out more about this in one of the previous videos somewhere right there or in the description. But now the scientists discovered something else just as interesting, if not more interesting. An unusual flash in a radio signal that's approximately 4,000 light years away from us that seems to flash for about 30 to 60 seconds, simulated in this video right here, and it seems to do so every 18.18 minutes, while also being one of the brightest objects in that particular radio frequency, yet displaying patterns that don't match any known astronomical objects.
When life puts you in tough situations, don't say why me, say try me. My goal is not to be better than anyone else, but to be better than I used to be. I fight to control the evil in me, hurt those I love, and I will let it out to play. Life doesn't get easier, you just get stronger. Deep conversations with the right people are priceless. Walk like you're a king.
Breaking news here over the past day, where it looks like an F-35, the U.S. military's brand new aircraft over in the South China Sea, has landed itself in the water, as there has been footage and videos that have surfaced from what looks like to be the Carl Vinson, the aircraft carrier that was deployed over in that region. A lot of people are speculating there might be a Navy sailor's career that is going down the drain, as those people were the ones that allegedly leaked those photos.
Yes and no. Up, 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 down, down, up and down, down, because you never know. We'll get into this.
And to give you guys some context from
He
that,
gets
like,
into a
17-ish
brief
second
about the
clip,
whole damn checklist.
that is you watching $78 million go into the water. Not only that, but
We
all
get
of
into
the
tread docs
equipment
here for the checklist.
Drinking
of the
water
training,
before bed burns 46 pounds.
Apple on the 5, Apple on the 5 of the close macros, Apple on the max, the 5, the 1, the 6 months, 3 month, 1 month, 5 day, 1 day, something like that. Or this is the 1 day on macro at the closest thing for right at the moment. Then you got Tesla and Microsoft ATM, and this is what you could get Portman's Pizza Hut over at BuzzFeed's webpage to actually goddamn do while tracking the fucking number. Yo, outstanding. Track the dip, kid. You know, you're going to want to buy the dips on those. I'll show you what I'm talking about here in a minute. Yeah, you're tracking some star players doing the thing because they suck up lead like sharp players inside of their goddamn zombie crew. So Larry hit with a middle hit on Robin Hood while she was dropping, trying to defend his position. She's starting to take out now more closely to today. I think this was October, November, something like that. We're starting to get out into some more recent history, and then very recent history, and then some play where they actually turned this over and fixed it. So they are watching things. There are ways to do things. There are ways to get in there and play things the way you need to do, but you'll need to watch some numbers about the shorts on this bit game while running Tesla and Microsoft numbers away, AO, pin chip, configure, program, and stuff works against her pushing out the bit on this, but maybe her team player knows the better index where it sounds good, but you don't know the out, which winds up being so bad that you can't get out of it unless you're not paying attention to it, given whether you're listening from a regular person learning, trying to do your own thing, hedging, trying to call, whether I call the hedge fund like leave or stay, my 401k, or whatever that game is, because you're going to get into what it is when you're out there and we're just this American crude den it out and come down to the den out there and there for Sharp Sartic 7 core values and or nor lust, envy, pride, greed, whatever photon black body makes the construct that real inside of the slow motion natural gas economy out in Ukraine and Mexico, variances of the feeds and speeds adjustment to the data corruption on the ROM about turning it through and what should based on some of the systems that are in there for the grooming policies and obstacle courses that determine that air turbulence equation of its subset, and what you're looking at, Life by Tiger, and you're gonna see some structures in there that are real common important as far as the giants to look inside of there about how they talk when they're saying, hey, maybe this season in the operator of being the photoelectric effect, seeing Oppenheimer's facial expressions in here start to do things on the cosmic background, the temperature differential, and say, well, this is a matrix. You're going to have to fill in some system about tossing that unbred version of Turtle Kathy Woods programming that goes into tearing this down on some hedge fund, ETF, NTF, card, coin, symbolization of who puts what together in the stock market. And again, you're going to live on the shoulders of some of them giants while you're building out to today from where you were at 1/4/2001 to 1/28/29, where it would have been. Now again, I'm going to pay attention to that. I was watching this yearly index, paying attention to other things. Obviously I had this thing running in terms of watching what these guys are doing for the machine work, so it sounds the same way in the mill, right? You know, they doing the same stuff realistically, given what it's doing. You know, some of that Constitution or Declaration of Independence, King George, about that map right there and how stuff goes down. You know, not like we haven't played out this story before, or what actually the damn Valley of the Shadows is. So I'll get you into some sets.
Although still displaying some similarities to certain types of objects, such as, for example, some types of pulsars. This figure right here, for example, illustrates the comparison between these particular signals, in this case this is the name of this unusual event, comparing it to certain types of pulsars, certain types of fast radio bursts, and a lot of other radio sources such as, for example, quasars,